Hello everyone. In this section, we will talk about how to create basic scripts, how to run them, how to pass arguments to a script, and how to make it executable. The file with Python code should have .py extension. To run the file, we need to write a Python command and specify the file name. Let's move to terminal and open the file. So this script contains a list of commands. And here we also see curly braces. As you remember, this is a method for string formatting. But let's see what happens in last print statement. So we have a list of strings, and this list of strings is concatenated to one string using the join method. And here the line fit character is a separator. Let's do this part in IPython. So now we get one string, but curly braces still remain after this operation. Then we apply the format method to this new string and substitute the values. As a result, we get the following output. So we have a script that generates the configuration for the interface. Keep in mind that if we want to get the output to the screen then running the script from the file, then we definitely need to specify the print function. Otherwise, we simply won't see anything. In order to not always write a Python command before the name of the script, we can make the script executable. To do this, at the beginning of the script, we need to write a special line. This line, it's called shebang. The first part of the string is the path to env object. This object that is dynamically finds which version of Python to use, namely the version that is configured as a default. You don't need to delve into this. I tell you this because you can find different types of this string on the internet. For example, someone specifies an absolute path to Python location. For example, USR local bin. This is not good because if you try to run your script on a different host, then there is a chance of getting an error because the path to Python location will be different. Therefore, it's better to write path with env object, because the system itself will determine which version of Python you are using by default. If you have several versions of Python installed, then you can explicitly specify the Python version with which the script should run. Let's a bit adjust our script. Here we can specify the exact Python version. And now, if you run the script without Python command, this version will be used. As for Linux, in addition, the file must be executable, meaning that it must have the appropriate permission. Let's check the current permission. So the executable file should have the X parameter, but it's not here. Let's add this permission to our script and check permissions once again. So now we have X, This means that file becomes executable and we can run the script without the Python command. It's not necessary to use shebang at all. If you are comfortable using Python command, then no problem, it's just a matter of preference. Now let's go back to our original script. If we want to generate a configuration, then we need to manually set the values, like description and VLAN number. And every time for a new configuration, the value needs to be changed. For example, if we want to generate configuration for another interface, we have to manually put correct description and probably another VLAN number. This is not convenient. Therefore, Python has possibility to pass arguments when running the script. To do this, we need to import the sys module and use the special argv list. We discussed that Python has standard modules, but to use them, you first need to import them. Let's ask script to display the content of argv list. As you can see, in our list we see the name of our script. Let's add some argument when running the script. So now we see a list of two elements. The first element of argv list will always be the file name. The rest of elements will be arguments passed by user. That is, if we pass two arguments, there will be three elements in the list. If argument contains a space, then it must be enclosed in quotes. So argv will treat it as one element. Argv is a regular list, so we can access it by index. Hence, we can refer to index values in the script. Let's say if we want to get a description, then we refer to index number 1. And VLAN number will be taken from index number 2. And now in format method, we specify variables. Let's save changes and run script once again. So first we specify the description of interface and then VLAN number. And we got the configuration. We specify the desired value, then running the script and get the result. Much more convenient than manual editing, isn't it? There are a couple of things worth noting. First, if we use argv and run the script with no arguments, then an error will thrown. The second point is that we can pass any data types to the script, but argv always converts them to strings. In other words, argv is always a list of strings. In the end, I want to say that argv is not the only way to pass arguments when running a script. Python has more advanced features, but for a start, knowing argv will be enough.